Welcome to CINEPRO, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. Our movie begins with Brian going to an electronics store to buy his daughter a birthday present. Since she loves singing, he gets her a karaoke machine. He takes it home, wraps it himself, and is happy that he got his daughter something she loves. Then he heads to her birthday party, which is being held at his ex-wife's house. He meets his ex-wife Lenore, who treats him coldly and asks him to leave his gift with the other presents until it's time to open them. But Brian objects and says he wants to give the present to his daughter himself. As soon as Kim sees him, she runs to him, opens her present, and is happy that her father came to the party and is taking pictures of her. Then he gives her another part of his gift, which is a horse, and everyone is amazed by it. Brian leaves the party, still looking at pictures of his daughter, who just turned 17. He finds that all his old army friends have come to spend the evening with him. His friend Sam tells him he has a job for him and needs his help, and that Brian no longer joins them for any protection missions they do. Brian agrees to the mission, which is to protect a singer as soon as she arrives at the stage and then take her home afterward. The party begins, and Brian is responsible for her safety until she gets to the stage. He tells the singer that his daughter wants to become a singer and asks if she has any advice for his daughter. She tells him to have his daughter look for another career instead. She goes up on stage, and Brian waits for her under the platform. He notices that a security gate is open, which allows all the fans to get in and rush toward the singer. The security guards try to stop the fans from attacking her, and Brian runs with her to her car. But someone tries to attack the singer with a knife to kill her, and Brian manages to save her and they escape from the party. After things calm down, the singer asks Brian to come to her room. She gives him a card with her personal number and her sound manager's number, and tells Brian that if his daughter's voice is really good, her manager will help her, and then she should come see her. The next day, Brian goes to meet his daughter at a cafe and finds Lenore there with her. Kim tells him her friend is traveling to spend her vacation in Paris with her cousin, and he realizes that she wants to travel with her. Since she's under 18, she needs her father's permission to travel alone, but he objects, knowing it's very dangerous. He tells them he'll think about it, but Kim starts crying and doesn't give him a chance to tell her that he got the singer's number so she can meet her. Lenore blames him for their divorce. She leaves him and walks away. He keeps thinking about it until he goes to Kim's house and tells her he agrees to let her travel. But he gives her a phone with an international number so she can call him before she goes to sleep and he can check on her. Kim is very happy that she will travel to Paris with her friend Amanda. She hugs and thanks him for letting her go. He says he'll take her to the airport. While unloading her bags, he notices that Kim has marked a lot of places on her map and that the trip will go all over Europe, and she lied to him that they were only going to Paris. Kim runs to her friend Amanda to greet her and leaves her father with Lenore, who blames him for being deceived. Lenore tells him that Kim was afraid to tell him. He is forced to agree to her travel and says goodbye to her at the airport. Kim arrives in her first country, France, where they meet a guy named Peter and ask him to take their picture with Kim's phone. He tells them that taxis in Paris are very expensive and asks if they want to share a taxi. He'll drop them off first, then go to his place. The girls agree to his offer, and Peter easily finds out where their apartment is. He asks if they're living with anyone, and Amanda tells him they're staying alone because her cousins are traveling and the apartment will be just for them. They leave him after agreeing to meet again that night. As soon as the girls leave him, he takes out his phone and calls someone to tell them that there are two girls living alone in an apartment. The girls go up to their apartment and relax. Kim takes her phone to call her father after being late to check in. He tells her he's worried about her and wants to talk to one of Amanda's cousins. Kim apologizes, saying she didn't know they'd be alone in the apartment. While she's talking, Kim sees a gang entering their apartment and kidnapping Amanda in front of her. She tells her father what happened, and Brian tells her to stay calm, that she's about to be kidnapped and shouldn't resist so they don't hurt her. She must focus on every detail in the first 10 seconds before she's drugged. He asks her if she met anyone at the airport or on the way to the apartment. She tells him she met a guy named Peter who got to know them and took them to their apartment. He realizes Peter is connected to the kidnapping. He takes a bag with a recorder to record the call and tells his daughter to hide under the bed and record everything that happens. Brian listens to the language the kidnappers are speaking until they leave the room. Kim tells her father they've left, but suddenly she is grabbed from under the bed. She kept describing any details she sees, like one of them has a beard and a tattoo of a crescent and star on his right hand. Then her voice disappears as she's drugged. Brian hears breathing close to the phone and realizes one of the kidnappers is holding her phone. Brian tells him that if he's looking for money, he doesn't have any ransom money to pay, but what he does have are a very particular set of skills he's acquired over a long career. If he lets his daughter go now, that'll be the end of it, and he won't pursue him. But if he doesn't, he'll kill him. The kidnapper says, "Good luck finding him," and hangs up. At that moment, Brian knows he has to find his daughter himself. He calls his friend Sam and tells him he'll send him the recording and wants any information he can get from it. He tells him what happened as he heads to Lenore's house. He arrives at her house and asks her ex-husband if he has any enemies outside, because he knows that he collaborates with Russians in selling oil. Kim's ex-husband assures him he has no enemies. Brian then asks him to book him a flight to Paris as soon as possible because he's a partner in an airline company. He keeps searching Kim's case for anything that might help him. And then he gets a call from Sam, who tells him that the language he heard is a local dialect spoken by a few people in Paris. And the most dangerous among them is someone named Marco, who is probably the one who spoke to him on the phone, as he is the leader of the most dangerous gang in Paris specializing in trafficking kidnapped women. After kidnapping the girls, they make them drug addicts to control them, and then they sell their bodies to the highest bidder in secret auctions. He tells him he only has 96 hours to find her, or else he'll lose her forever and never be able to find her. He ends the call, and Brian manages to get on a flight to Paris immediately to start searching for his daughter. During the flight, he keeps listening to his daughter's phone call until he arrives in Paris. He goes to Kim's apartment and enters through the window. He searches everything inside, imagining how the break-in and kidnapping happened. He finds Kim's broken phone on the ground, takes out the memory card, and plays it in a device to see the photos taken on it. He finds a photo of his daughter and Amanda, and in the glass reflection, there's a stranger taking their picture. It's Peter, the man who met them at the airport. Brian heads to the airport and finds Peter pulling the same trick on another girl. He throws him into a taxi and keeps beating him to make him confess, until Brian is pulled out of the taxi by Peter's accomplice. But Brian manages to beat him easily. He returns to Peter, who escapes onto a bridge. Brian chases him, but a car hits Peter, and he dies. Brian resorts to his friend John for any information about the Albanians. John tells him they have a specific place where they gather. Brian immediately heads there, rents a car with his passport and an Albanian translator, and asks him to wait in the car until he returns. He goes to the place John told him about, causes trouble with a girl there until her pimp comes down to fight him, and Brian manages to plant a spy device in the pimp's clothes. He apologizes to get away, returns to the translator, gives him his device, and orders him to translate everything. They overhear them talking about something called fresh merchandise, and that they are moving to its location immediately. Brian thanks the translator and follows the pimp's car alone until he reaches a construction site where the pimp rents out the girls. Brian enters and searches for his daughter until he finds her jacket next to one of the girls. He beats the man with her and asks the girl about the jacket's owner, but she is too out of it from the drugs she took. He tries to get her to a nearby car, but someone tries to stop him and shoots at him. The others at the site realize someone is trying to steal a girl. They all pull out weapons and shoot at Brian, but he manages to escape with the girl wearing his daughter's jacket. He is chased by the pimp's men and succeeds in getting rid of them all. One of John's men is monitoring all the movements and informs John. As soon as Brian realizes he's being watched, he manages to escape from the person following him. He goes to a hotel he knows, manages to stay there without registering his details, and takes the girl with him. They try to treat her until the next day. John calls Brian and asks to meet him in the public garden. Brian agrees and calls John after arriving, telling him their conversation will be by phone and that he can see him, as he knows John wants to arrest him to minimize the losses and destruction happening. Indeed, John has set up a surveillance unit ready to arrest Brian as soon as they see him, and they try to locate him through the call. John tries to stall, telling Brian that his boss wants him to return home immediately because he caused deaths and injuries, and the losses will increase. Brian tells him he'll handle it himself. The police determine his location and head to where he is, but find he has set up a connection between a mobile phone and a walkie-talkie so he can speak from a different location than where the call signal came from. Brian realizes John won't help him find his daughter and that he's now alone in the country and can't rely on anyone, not even his friend. He returns to the room where he's staying, and the girl he rescued wakes up and tries to remove the IV from her arm. He calms her down, tells her he saved her from the kidnappers, and that the IV contains an antidote to the drugs in her system. He asks her about his daughter and shows her a picture. She tells him she met her in the house with the red door, that she was very cold, and that Kim gave her her jacket because she was kind. The last thing she remembers is being with Peter and heading to a party on Paradise Street. Then the men came out of the house and kidnapped her. Brian goes to the house, enters, and meets a man inside. He tells him he wants to meet the boss and gives him John's card, pretending to be John. The man takes him to the boss in a room with 5 men. Brian says he's there to ask about Marco, knowing he's the boss there, but no one answers. He tells them the bribe has increased and they must pay, or he'll arrest them for many charges. He gets them to pay him money, then gives them a paper with "good luck" written in Albanian and asks them to say it in English, like the kidnapper said on the phone. One of the men has a voice similar to the one who spoke to him on the phone. Brian looks at him and tells him promise to find and kill him. He starts fighting them, kills one, and each person who enters kills them all. He searches for his daughter but finds Amanda dead from a drug overdose and fears his daughter will meet the same fate. He captures Marco and prepares to torture him until he confesses Kim's location. He keeps electrocuting him until Marco tells him his daughter was sold because she's a virgin, and virgins bring more money if sold to a businessman. She said she followed someone named Patrico, who is responsible for selling them. After that, Brian thanks him for his help, then electrocutes him and leaves him until he dies. He leaves to go to his friend John. He meets John at his house in front of his wife. He tells him that he was in a suspicious house, and they allowed him to enter as soon as they saw his special card. This means they are dealing with someone in his office and that he could have helped him from the beginning. John excuses himself to go to the bathroom and comes back again. He takes the gun hidden under the sink and returns to Brian and his wife. John threatens Brian with the gun, saying he will immediately take him to the airport to return to his country. He tells him he will be arrested and thrown in jail. Brian tells him that he forgot the difference between the weight of a loaded gun and an empty one. Brian pulls out his gun and shoots John's wife in the shoulder. He tells him that the next bullet will be fatal if he doesn't help him find out who Patrick is. John gives him his full name and manages to get Brian complete information about Patrick. At that moment, Brian knocks him out and heads to Patrick's address to look for his daughter. He enters the house pretending to be a police officer. He keeps watching Patrick until he sees him going down to the basement of his mansion, and he follows him. He knocks out the waiter serving drinks and takes his place, entering a room where Dave is auctioning off virgin girls. Brian stands behind Dave, pretending to be his assistant, until he sees his daughter being auctioned in front of him. He threatens Dave with his gun to bid on her and buy her, making Dave walk out in front of him. As soon as they leave the room, Brian hits Dave on the head and knocks him out. He wakes up tied in front of Patrick, who asks him about his identity. Brian tells him he is the father of the last girl who was auctioned. Patrick explains that the matter is out of his hands and that it's all just business. He orders his men to kill Brian quietly, but Brian manages to put extra weight on the pipe he's tied to, breaks it, and starts killing everyone around him. He gets to Patrick and forces him to confess the location of the guest who bought his daughter, then kills him and rushes to the yacht before it leaves the port. He sees them taking his daughter onto the yacht and moving away. He keeps chasing the yacht until he manages to jump onto it from the bridge above. He kills everyone on the yacht but gets shot in his side. Brian finally reaches the buyer who bought his daughter. The man is holding her and threatens to kill her if Brian comes closer. Before the buyer can speak, Brian shoots him in the head and kills him. Finally, he manages to rescue his daughter. She runs into his arms, crying, and unable to believe her father traveled and did all this for her and succeeded in saving her. He returns with her to Eleanor, who apologizes for not believing him at first. Brian finally rests after getting his daughter back. After a while, he surprises Kim by taking her to a house she doesn't know. He opens the door for her, and the singer appears. Kim is overjoyed to see her favorite singer in front of her. Brian is happy that his daughter is back. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video.